Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy, and today we're going to unbox a Yoda figure from the Archive series. So let's go set this little guy free. Alright everyone, here we are with Yoda from the Black Series Archive Collection. And what the Archive Collection is a re-release of older figures from a couple years ago. And this figure is from Wave 2. Wave 2 has 4 figures in it. It's Yoda, Anakin Skywalker from Episode 3, Darth Maul from Episode 1, and a Scout Trooper. So there's 4 figures in each wave, and this is Wave 2. And we are going to unbox this guy today, but before we get that far, let's spin the packaging around and take a look at it. So what you have here on the back is a picture of the original packaging, and you can see that you also have a date here, which is 2014, and that was the year the original figure was released. And you can see it is in a little bit different packaging than what you might be familiar with in Black Series, because the first, I think, 2 to 3 years they released Black Series, the packaging was a little bit different, and this is what you would refer to as the blue stripe packaging. And some of them have these big blue stripes, and some of them have orange stripes, and you can see the picture of the stripe, or the stripe in the picture there. And again, this was released, a figure that was initially released in 2014. And then, of course, you have a character description, a brief one, and I will go ahead and read that to you guys. Yoda is a legendary Jedi Master and stronger than most in his connection to the Force. And, of course, very brief description of Yoda. And they don't specifically say here on the box, but to me this appears to be the version of Yoda that you would have seen in Empire Strikes Back. But of course, just to give you extra accessories, and I know he didn't use his lightsaber in Empire Strikes Back, but they gave you his lightsaber from the prequel, so that was very cool of them. I'm actually glad they did that. So, and if you're familiar with the real vintage version of Yoda, he came with this little orange snake that you could wrap around his neck, and that's what they're trying to reference here with this little snake that he comes with. So, and of course, we're going to unbox this guy, so let's get him out of here. So, of course, this is from the 6-inch scale line, and obviously this isn't a 6-inch figure, and obviously that's because, you know, Yoda's a little guy. So you don't get a full 6 inches out of Yoda. And when you buy a Yoda figure, sometimes you get a little bit less action figure than you might get otherwise. But that's part of being a Yoda fan, I guess. So, alright. So I'm trying to open this in a way that kind of can restore him again. And you can see how he doesn't really fill up the whole bubble there. But that's, again, that's part of loving Yoda. Alright, so there's everything he comes with, and of course you have his lightsaber, which he only used in the prequels, and his cane, which I believe he used in pretty much every movie. Maybe not that version of it, but he always had a cane. And then, of course, the man himself, or I guess he's not a man, but Yoda, the master. And ooh, he is a little guy, and that's what he looks like, and very cool. And so, of course, the first thing I'm noticing off the bat is the cloth robe. The robe is all cloth, and I don't know, we'll look into it here and see if it's actually removable. I'm gonna seriously doubt it. It looks like the belt holding him together may be permanently on there. Okay, so then, as I was saying, you have the little snake accessory, and it's just a little bit of flexible plastic that wraps around his neck, no big deal. And then you have what's a little accessory that is wrapped around his neck. It's, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's like a little box, and it looks like if you were to wiggle it, you could get it off of there. I don't want to force it because I don't really want to break him, and I don't want to break the accessory, but it looks like if you could bend his ears a little bit, you could get it off of there, but his ears are actually, believe it or not, pretty stiff and pretty firm. So there's not a lot of movement there. But just looking at him and the way they have him dressed, okay, so you can take the belt off. Okay, so there's a little tiny belt that he wears with what I thought was actual string, but it appears to be plastic fake string that looks like a knot for tying his belt. And then, okay, so you can remove the outer robe, and okay, let's do that so we can look at his articulation here. And this actually does feel fairly delicate, so you're going to want to be careful with it. But here is what the master looks like with his robe off. And one of the reasons I want to do that is so we can take a look at the articulation on this figure. So, oh, that looks very Empire Strikes Back-y. So you do have head rotation, and it doesn't feel like it goes all the way around, and that's because it feels like his chin, or not his chin, but his neck is hitting on the collar. You can see his collar's kind of raised up a little bit, but you have a little bit of up and down, and then a good amount of side to side. But you see how when I turn it to the side, it kind of pushes his head up. It feels like it's wanting to pop off. So you do have a little bit of limited motion on the head, and that's mostly because of the collar they sculpted around him on his shirt. And then so at his elbow here, you have full rotation and a little bit of up and down, and it doesn't appear that it's really just the way they molded the shirt. You have limited up and down movement on him, and it's mostly because I don't think they expected you to have a lot of articulation with Yoda. Maybe I don't know why they did that. That seems a little weird, but that's all the further in this position he can raise his arm. And then at the elbow, you have only forward and backwards. There's no rotation. And then at his wrist, you have rotation, and there's no forward and backward. And then, of course, you know, his hand sculpt is going to be a little bit unique because he's three-fingered. But it also appears, just looking at it, let's see here. Yeah, they're pretty close to identical as hand sculpts, you can see there. So, alright, then moving down to his body, his torso here, you have articulation there, and you have full rotation, no problem, and a little bit of back and forth. Forward and backwards. It's more backwards, really. Okay, and then from there you have leg forward and backwards. And then right here on the upper leg, you should have a full rotation. And you do. And they did not give Master Yoda any knee joints. And then you have the ankle joint, which appears they just gave him a rotation when normally you have, on most Black Series, you have a forward and a backward. And as you can see, you got the 3 forward toes and maybe a, I don't know if you call that back thing a toe, but 3-toed foot sculpt. So that's going to be a little bit different than your normal Black Series figure. But there he is, unrobed. He's got a little black pajama, or not black, little brown pajamas on. So if you purchase this figure and you don't want to unrobe him, there you go. That's what it looks like under the robe. So not a whole lot going on there. All right, so let's re-robe him here, and I'm going to be real careful because the robe seems pretty delicate. And very good. This reminds me a lot of a vintage Yoda, the way they dressed him and everything like that. I would have been happy with a prequel Yoda. So, okay. So when you put the belt on, you want the little cloth knot, rope knot, to be in the front, and the actual buckle is on the side here. All right, and that went back together fairly easy. I'm surprised. Sometimes these little belts can put up a fight and be difficult, but very cool. All right, and he is back together, re-robed. Very cool. All right, so, whoops, see, I'm already getting some frayed pieces off his. Let's take a look at how he interacts with his accessories here. So, of course, you have the cane. I'm going to put him down for a second here. And it just appears to be a piece of wood, tree branch type thing, and it does have a little bit of flexibility to it. So let's see how he interacts with this thing here. Okay, so you can see how he holds it, and it is in there, but it's a little bit loose. So, but it's a walking stick or a cane. So, whoops. I guess depending on how you stick it in his hand, it may, you know. There you go. So he holds it, and he's got a fairly. It fits better in his right hand, at least on the one I have. And he's actually got a much better grip on it. So I'm thinking his right hand is probably going to be for the walking stick, and maybe his left hand is for the lightsaber. Because let's take a look at his lightsaber here. And okay, so oh, it actually appears. Oh no, okay, I thought I saw a little tab on there for. But you can see the handle for his lightsaber, and I'm going to get the cane out here, is a lot bigger than the handle for the cane, so I'm hoping that they accommodated the hand so you can actually get the lightsaber in there. So okay, so it does feel like you got to kind of stretch the hand out a little bit, but yeah, he's got a good grip on it, not letting go. Very cool. So, and the other thing I want to check, yeah. So the blade does come out, and I'm looking. I don't see any way or any kind of belt clip or anything like that, so you can attach the lightsaber to his belt. So that is unfortunate. Okay. So, just for the reason I was talking about, I am going to not try to put the lightsaber in the other hand, because I want to. It feels like the handle is so much bigger on the lightsaber than the walking stick, that I don't want to stretch out the other hand so he can still get a good grip on the walking stick and hold it. Whereas on this hand, he didn't really get a good grip and it kind of fell out. So I want to leave him as he is. And just assume that if you want to swap out the lightsaber and the cane in different hands, you can do that. But I'm not going to do that with this one today. I want to try to keep his hands in good shape and not stretch him out. But there he is, everyone. Yoda from the Archive Collection. All right, everyone, there he is from the Black Series Archive Collection. This is Jedi Master Yoda. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate your support. I hope you're enjoying the videos. And if you are, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have your support here. And thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.